Hello, you're listening to What's on Your Mind, a journey from mind to the mic. I'm your host Harshi Kaur for today, and this episode is brought to you by the Psychology Department of NMIMS. We create safe space for honest conversations about mental health, lifestyle, and the psychology behind everyday behaviors. Have you ever opened Instagram or YouTube for just 5 minutes and suddenly an hour has passed by? Or have you ever got anything online, not because you needed it, but because it gave you a quick mood boost or something to look forward to? In this world, pleasure is instant, validation is instant, entertainment is instant, shopping is instant, and social media is the perfect cycle for all of this. Influencer culture, short form content, limited time discounts, micro trends, all of these things are designed to give our brain a quick reward hit. But what happens when our minds get used to this constant instant gratification? This episode explores how modern marketing and influencer content creation creates a dopamine loop, a cycle where we keep consuming more, scrolling more, shopping more, buying more, not for the need, but for temporary emotional satisfaction. Today's episode features influencers and digital creators who are actively shaping online culture. Today, we are joined by Misshty Seth, the creator behind the Silly Goose, a content platform on Instagram. She creates engaging short form videos that simplify complex psychological concepts and make conversations about mental health more accessible and reliable. Over the past 2 years, she's grown her page from scratch to over 1,60,000 followers, with more than 50 million views across her content, all while focusing on destigmatizing mental health and encouraging people to better understand their emotions. We also have with us Miss Manya Dhawan, an entrepreneur, influencer, and the founder of the Noted Stories. What began as a vision has grown into a thriving rug brand that celebrates Indian craftsmanship while supporting local artisans. Through her work, Manya blends creativity, culture, and conscious entrepreneurship, building a brand that carries both luxury and legacy. We're excited to have her with us to talk about her journey, building a business from the ground up, and the stories woven into every thread of her work. Please join me in welcoming Miss Misshty Seth and Miss Manya Dhawan. Together, we'll impact the relationship between influencer culture, instant gratification, and the growing pressure of lifestyle comparison in the digital age.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
We are so excited to have this conversation. I'm really honored to be a part of this. Yeah.
So, before we begin, I have a few questions to ask. Since you both are content creators, I want to begin this episode by asking questions to both of you about your respective content creation journeys within your own fields and your perspectives on it. So, do you feel that people's attention spans have changed because of reels and short form content?
I do think that the attention span has gone down substantially because of the change in format and how people just somehow cannot retain going through a long format content, and that is why even creators have to now make content in such a form where they're changing their B rolls, or there's the cuts happening every now and then. A lot of transitions are happening. So definitely there's been a change in the kind of content that we consume. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I do feel that our attention spans have reduced significantly. However, I do feel that we still have the ability to sustain our attention for a longer period of time. It's just harder to focus because there's been an increase in short form content in the past few years, and we're constantly scrolling on our phones, watching reels. Within a span of 10 seconds, we watch like 3 to 4 reels. So I do feel that that has had an impact on the way we view content and overall our attention span. So yeah.
Right. So, out of long form and short form content, which one do you enjoy making more? And do you feel that there is this pressure on you that you need to make more of the short form content videos?
I mean, I don't want to say that there's a pressure to make more short form content. It's just something that's more trending right now. It's something that's working well right now. Out of the two, honestly, I enjoy making both. I recently started making YouTube videos as well. So I did my first YouTube video and I actually enjoyed it more than short form content because there's a lot you can say in it. There's more nuance that you can add, which I feel you can't add or portray properly in short form content within a 90-second time frame. So yeah, I mean both are great, but for me, long form I enjoy more.
Yeah, so I think when I started making content around 10 years back, I started as a YouTuber and I used to make long form content and I really used to enjoy that. But yes, like she said that now because short form content is more trending and like it's something that now as viewers also people just like to see a reel instead of a YouTube video. But I do feel that that trend of YouTube is coming back again, which had disappeared for a while. But yeah, I think I enjoy long form content again.
Okay. So, one of the things that is so characteristic of and sort of goes on being chronically online as a viewer is to make impulsive financial decisions, get invested in social media micro trends and overspending. So, Manya, as a business owner, when you promote a product, what do you think makes your followers buy it immediately?
I think anything that does not feel like we're putting the product right in their face, just buy it. Something that is very subtly integrated and something that makes them feel like we're solving a problem or adding some value to them, but very subtly, not because nowadays the viewer has also become the creator. So they do know the flip side of the content that they're consuming. So I think anything that very subtly and that's integrated works well and makes people buy it. Something that feels like a genuine recommendation instead of something that, hey, just buy this. So, yeah.
And Mishtry, as someone who understands the impact of micro trends and impulsive buying on mental health and physical health, how do you navigate the creator economy of promoting the products online?
So for me, the way I approach brand deals or promotion of products in general is I always try to ask myself two questions. That number one, do I use this product myself? Because if I do and if I love the product, I would 100% recommend it as well. The other thing is if I don't use it, but I still feel that this could help somebody else or this could prove to be useful for somebody else. So that is how I try to approach it, because I also don't want to promote anything and everything on my page, because I feel like I like being authentic to the content that I create.
So, Manya, do you feel brands today are selling a product or are they selling a feeling or a lifestyle?
I think they're definitely selling, like good brands that are growing are now selling a movement, a feeling, because long gone are the days when people were just selling products. Now people like to be a part of a community. They want to feel like they are a part of the brand and they're moving forward with the brand, not just buy a product and then that's not something that's working. I feel now, yeah.
And Misty, do you feel influencers or creators must be held equally accountable as their audience for promoting such lifestyle and such habits?
100%. I feel like if you're constantly promoting products back to back, of course, that has an impact on the way your audience also sees you. So I do feel, and as a creator, I do feel you hold a lot of responsibility when it comes to promoting anything, whether that's a product or an opinion, anything on the internet. I feel like you hold just as much responsibility as the audience.
So, quick and instant deliveries, short form content trapping you in a scrolling loop, all that have created this need for instant gratification in our minds. So, my question to both of you is why do we crave quick pleasure more than long term stability?
I think it's also because instant gratification, or whenever we're given an immediate reward, obviously it feels great, right? And I feel like if we keep doing that repeatedly, we will get stuck in that loop of wanting that all the time, right? So I do feel that it happens because it makes us feel great in the moment, and oftentimes people end up getting stuck in that loop, and it's hard to break that pattern. But of course, it's important to realize that it's temporary, it's momentary, it won't give you anything in the long term, and because it's not sustainable.
And I think the world around us, everything, very good people, they've used it as something great to build and even to solve problems. But we're not realizing that now more than that thing, like quick commerce has come in. More than it just solving a problem, we've now created a dependency. And I think that's where we go wrong with instant gratification. We need to know when to get it and when not to get it, and when to prioritize delayed gratification also. But yeah, I think it's just how stimulated our world is and how things have just come in with quick commerce and everything in general, where we just want everything in a second, in a blink of an eye.
Right.
So yeah.
So, do you think that social media has made us less patient with slow growth or delayed rewards because we are so used to this instant gratification?
I think it has. I think the way we see growth, the way we see success has definitely changed because the thing is that we see it from an outer perspective. So obviously, it feels like an overnight success.
Right.
But the thing is that we don't see the journey behind it. The person who's been maybe making content for 5 years and now is when they're getting the recognition that they deserved all this time. So it's definitely altered the way we see growth, the way we see success.
Definitely, because I think even as creators, we forget that they're individuals and humans first, and they're not going to be putting out every part of themselves,
Right.
and they are going to have the bad days, they are going to have the downfalls, everything, and what seems like okay, this person has just instantly started blowing up, but you do not realize so many failed reels, so many failed formats have gone behind, and even for brands for that matter, so many failed products, campaigns have been done, and then a brand comes to highlight and all of, and same for creators.
You actually somewhat answered my next question, which was how can we, as common users of social media, understand this race for this instant growth and be gentle towards ourselves?
I think I feel like we have to stop limiting ourselves with the notion that we've created of success online, and with how everybody wants to think of success as just something that's got to do with dream cars, having a very beautiful lifestyle, and all of that. Like, get out of that bubble. I think that would really help.
Yeah, similar to what I said before, I just feel like it's important to, for me, I feel the solution to all of this as creators and as users is mindful usage of social media.
Right.
You need to understand that nobody, like Manya said, nobody is putting out their bad days. There are a handful of creators who actually can do that. But also at the same time, it's not easy to put out your bad days because you're opening yourself up for debate and a lot of hatred as well. So I get why a lot of people don't. But yes, it's just realizing that everybody has bad days. It's just some people choose to show it, some people don't.
So far, we've talked about the way social media affects our attention, spending habits, and our brain's need for instant rewards. But another powerful aspect of influencer culture is the idea of relatability and the way the audience emotionally connect with the creators online. So, what do people really mean when they say an influencer feels relatable?
I think relatability for me is that maybe they see some part of themselves or some part of their personality in the creator or maybe somebody they aspire to be. So that is what relatability is to me.
You're very similar to that. Anything I feel feels relatable to the audience when the moment we're a little real. I don't mean that you have to be 100% real, because that's also because even as a creator, we are human first, and we also have certain barriers to you know come across as who we are, and those are mental barriers for us as well. But anytime, I think, where we can share a story or just are real in our own way, and when people are like, okay, this person's just like me in some way, I think that's when it's relatable, when we're not trying to portray a fake image or anything picture perfect.
So, do you as a creator consciously think that whatever I'm making now is going to be relatable to people, even if you don't resonate with the content personally?
I mean, I personally haven't put out a piece of content that I don't relate with myself because I feel like I can't be honest or authentic if I don't relate to it. And I feel like my audience is able to tell, and any audience, I feel
Yeah.
like they're able to tell when you're being fake, when you're not being authentic to the kind of content that you're making. So yeah, I don't think I can do that.
And I think now, like I said, that now the audience is the creator as well, right? So they know what's happening on the backside. So I think now you cannot fake it, and as creators, they will you will stop enjoying making content if you're fake and if you don't resonate with something and if you promote, and because you'll also be doing it half-heartedly,
Right.
and it reflects.
So, do you ever worry that showing a very perfect lifestyle online might affect viewers emotionally?
I don't portray a perfect lifestyle. I am very, I feel like I love to speak about my bad days also. I love to speak about the parts that have gone wrong also, so that at the end of the day, people do realize, okay, I'm a human. first. But of course, we all have our own filters in our own ways. So, yeah.
I agree. It's important to show your bad days just as much as your good days, because if you're only showing the good parts, especially with, I feel, even children using social media now and them following so many of the creators, I feel like it can have a very deep impact on the way they view things as well. So it gets really important to show your bad days just as much, because then it creates a balanced perspective that okay, it's not all rosy on the it's not all rosy always.
So social media doesn't just influence what we watch, it often influences what we feel about ourselves and the way we cope with those emotions. So many people turn to scrolling, shopping, or validation online when they feel overwhelmed or whenever they feel left behind. Do you ever feel FOMO, fear of missing out, when you look at the content of other creators?
Not really, honestly. I feel like personally, the kind of niche I am in, of course, it's very because you see different brands growing and founders growing. But I've realized um, that it's a process. You have to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with your brand. You have to be patient with your audience. As much as you are finding your niche, as much as you're figuring it out, it's it's all a part of the process. You can't hurry it up. Yeah.
I think for me, I feel like everyone has weak moments. I feel like sometimes I have watched content of other creators and I felt that, oh, I wish I was invited here, or I wish that I also get the chance to be here. But I feel like what helps me is that, sure, I think we're all human. Everybody compares themselves to other people every once in a while. But instead of using that comparison and just sitting with it and drowning in those negative feelings, I try to come out of it and use that as inspiration. That okay, what can I change, or what can I do better to get there as well? Because I don't think it's unachievable. I think I can do it too.
We all, I think, love likes, comments, and views. But why do you think these likes, comments, and views provide so much immense validation even to non people who don't put their content forward or people who are non influencers?
I think it's a very simple thing that as humans we all like, everyone wants to be liked. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't want to be liked. So and with Instagram there's likes, comments, shares, they're very instant, right? And it feels like, oh, this person, it even though it's not outrightly said, but it feels like you're being accepted, you're being approved. And I think on a psychological level that's how it impacts.
Yeah, like just the feeling of being seen or being appreciated, or just feeling like, oh, I'm being noticed by people. Because as humans, that's something that we want. We all want to be liked for who we are, or appreciated for the way we look, or whatever we're putting out there. So yeah, I think it's a very basic human need to be appreciated for who we are.
Do you feel that impulsive buying or using online shopping as a way of emotional coping mechanism is correct? What impact can it have on a global scale?
I don't think it's right. I mean, I'm guilty of doing it. I've been doing it for over a year, but I've started to realize that it's not great for your finances. Two, obviously, if you're just substituting what you're buying for the emotions that you're feeling, and in the short term, it feels great. You feel good about it, but in the long term, you over time you will be forced to face the feelings that you've been avoiding for a long time. And I think it's better to deal with them in the moment than let it build up and have a burnout or a breakdown immediately. So.
I think there is no substitute to dealing with what you have to deal with. Though we might run in different directions, that hey, let's go to the gym, let me do retail therapy, let me do this, that, whatnot, right? But at the end of the day, when you come back home, you will still have that void. So why not address that void in the first place?
Yeah.
And go ahead. I don't. I'm not against people buying impulsively online. Go ahead, do that. Sometimes it's great, but just make sure that does not turn into a coping mechanism.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
While social media can create pressure and comparison, it can also become a space for awareness and healthier conversations if used responsibly. Misshty, you are creating content on the same lines. How can influencer create content more responsibly while staying relevant?
I think responsibility and relevance go hand in hand. As a creator, I personally feel it's important to put out content that is from a balanced perspective and not putting out biased perspectives. And of course, doing your research a little bit about the content that you're making.
And I think she does that beautifully because honestly, the kind of concepts that she covers is honestly not easy, but the way she portrays it and the way she does it in such a beautiful manner where I genuinely think that you know how you've nailed relevance part and responsibility part. Yeah.
And Manya, if social media became less trend focused and more responsible, how do you think mental health would improve for both influencers and for the followers?
I think it would make a big impact because if something is more relevant, you'll not be forced to doing something because it's more trendy, or you would know it's gonna buy you more views or comments or some or more engagement for that matter. And I think that works very well for the creator and the consumer because the creator will be creating what they truly resonate with, and the viewer will be able to view it and get the value out of it in its true sense instead of just something that's just posted because
Right.
it's trending. So, yeah.
And as we come to the end of this episode, I'd like to ask you both one last question. What message would you give to someone who feels that they are not doing enough just because of what they see online?
I think I just have two things to say. One, it's really important to mindfully use social media because it's again tied back to what I said earlier. Nobody's showing you the bad days, and just comparing yourself to somebody's good parts and successes is not fair to you at all. You have your own journey, you have your own pace. Everybody has their own journey, so just focus on your own journey, and that's about it.
I would just want to say that don't let it make you feel like you're behind in life just because people have created their own superficial standards of success, and because they portray a particular lifestyle. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever circumstances you're doing, you have to understand you're doing the best out of it. And a lot of the things you see online, you don't know the background behind it. So stop, don't compare yourself. Maybe get inspiration out of it and figure out how do you want to achieve that lifestyle or to get a seat in those rooms or those places. But I think, again, like she said, and like we've been trying to cover this whole concept where what you see online is not 100% real. So you have to understand wherever you are, whatever you're doing is great, you're amazing. Just own that and
Okay.
be confident in that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. Instant gratification is everywhere in our feeds, our purchases, and even in our sense of self worth. Influencer culture isn't just entertainment anymore. It shapes how we desire, how we compare, and how we cope. By understanding the psychology behind these patterns, we can begin to build healthier relationships with social media, consumerism, and ourselves using the right tools. Because long term well being will always matter more than short term pleasure.